Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy, the Knight of Justice, back again with another power scaling video. In this video, we will be talking about another one of the fighters in Ragnarok, but this time on the side of humanity, Raiden Tameemon, the strongest sumo wrestler in history. We'll be talking about where he scales in Ragnarok, but also his character, which, besides Kojiro, I find very interesting and awesome in the manga. And by the end of this video, I hope you find interest in him as well, or just feel more interested in reading the manga. But without the way, let's get into the video. Oh, before we do that, of course, if you like the video, please hit like, share, subscribe, also comment down below. Hit the notification button for more videos, for when they come out in the future. Raiden Tameemon is the 5th fighter on the side of humanity, and is said to be the strongest sumo wrestler in history. In chapter 33, we are introduced to Raiden's backstory and what was the reason for him to become a sumo wrestler, and the reason also behind his strength. Born in 1767 on the month of January in the Orochi village in Shikagestan district, his parents came to realize that he already was 2 years and 8 months old. The boy could not even stand, even at his age, and his parents did not know what to do. However, 1 week later, after this revelation, the boy was able to stand, but something else was revealed. He stood up for the first time in his life, but all his bones had broken because of the pressure from his very young muscles. If this problem persists, he would die because of his own raw power. But despite this setback, he would not stop moving forward because he chose not to give up on himself. His raging muscles held him down, and it seemed that his own body was like a prison to him. It kept creating new muscle fibers non-stop. What kept his muscles from overgrowing was called the 100 seals. In order to use his powers in the coming fight against Shiva in the 5th match of Ragnarok, with the combination of his vow and the release of his 100 seals, he is no longer held back by his muscles, and he gained complete control over them. This is the strongest fighter in history, his true power. Ever since he was a child, he had lived with the conditions that forced his muscles to continuously grow, but using the 100 seals to keep his muscles from becoming too strong, he barely managed to keep his own body together. He lived his whole life without using his full power and still managed to become one of the strongest Rikishis ever. Free of his shackles, this means in all of human history, he has the strongest muscles, and he was about to use them for the first time. And he can now fight with everything he has. The 100 seals has been broken. In chapter 39, The Forbidden Move, we see further into Raiden's backstory and how he became the strongest Rikishi. At the age of 5, Raiden shown off his strength when he's doing sumo with some other young children. Even while holding back his strength, he was still too strong for them. By seeing this, the other children grew to fear his monster strength. When he was with his mother, he asked her why did God make him to such a freak. She is shocked by this question and tells him that she is very thankful to God, and told him that when he was very young and he still couldn't stand, they went to a shrine many times to pray to God to please give this child the ability to stand on his own feet and let him grow up big and strong. And now he's gotten so big. She further tells him that God loves him and that his power is a gift from the gods, and she is very proud of him. She tells him to please use the power for good of the weak. From that moment forward, he did what his mother wished. He grew up to be kind-hearted, and he was loved by all in the land. However, with the eruption of Mount Azuma, with disaster striking, changing his fate forever, Volcanic ash wiped out all the crops, and plagues and famine struck the whole Shinto province, leading thousands to starve to death. And what later will be known as the Great Teeming Famine. By seeing how much the people of his home were suffering, he realized this is what his power is, what really meant to help the weak. At the age of 17, he left his home and arrived in Endo. Raiden chose to become a sumo wrestler to raise as much money as he can for his hometown. By entering the dojo, he gets settled in and he comes to a sparring room. He is pretty sure that those that are around him he could handle without using his full power. That is until Ozeki Tenikoze stepped up to young Raiden's challenge. Still unsure, Tenikoze told him that if he can't beat him, he can go back to the boonies. As Raiden combated the Ozeki, he is easily defeated, but still determined to fight for the sake of his hometown. No matter how many times Tenikoze beat down Raiden, his will kept him to keep standing up and pushing him forward more and more. With this development of power, Raiden began to see just how fun sumo truly was. Tenikoze decided to take Raiden under his wing and train him in the art of sumo. Shiko, Soreishi, Teppu. The boy tirelessly devoted himself to practicing the fundamentals of sumo. For him, sumo was like the first place in his life where he can go all out against his opponent. When Raiden Tameemon debuted under the sponsorship for his master domain, the day he showed off his power for the crowd to see, he became a living legend. In a series of stunning consecutive wins, defeating his opponent with just one strike. With this, he earned money and brought food for his hometown. This, along with the wins, built up a reputation and became quite famous. However, this did not last for long. When he is faced with an opponent that is weak compared to himself, he begins to have flashbacks from his childhood of how he easily defeated the child, and how he feared him, the fear in his eyes of his power. When he is confronted by his master, he asks Raiden why did he throw the match, with Raiden showing tears and explaining that his mother always told him to use his power for the good of the weak, but it seems that he's gone back to picking on them again. Seemingly going back to his old ways, he forced himself to hold back even more so he wouldn't break his opponents, and so he wouldn't harm the weak. Raiden sealed away his most powerful moves, with them together becoming Raiden's Forbidden Four. But even with holding back this much, Raiden continued to win and send money back to his hometown, just as he struck out to do. The highest ranking Ozeki over a career spanning 21 years, had a record of 25 wins, 10 losses, and 40 Azukur, 2 wakes, and 5 Musubu, out of a 285 bouts, with a winning ratio of 962. The 10 losses and 2 wakes were against all lower ranking Rikishis. In other words, there was for some reason why he could not fight those other opponents. For that reason, people call him the virtually unbeatable contestant, the peerless Rikishi, but no one knew that up until the moment the peerless Rikishi, Raiden Tameemon, left the ring for good, and he could never go all out again, not even once. But in his fight against the god of destruction Shiva, he can finally fight without holding back, and let sumo loose. And once Raiden has decided upon this, his body began to move quite naturally. The time for prepping was over, and now with no hold barred. Of all the sumo techniques available to him, the one which Raiden Tameemon chose was the one sport's most fundamental and ethical, Teppu. On the verge of launching it from a conscious stance, with complete control over his muscles, granting him by his vow, diverting his energy into a different spot of the technique, and thus with extreme rapid shift within his muscles, place all his focus into the heel of his palm. A single destructive strike, obliterated Shiva and his other two arms. This is the highest form of Teppu, known as Yatakarasu. Raiden Tameemon is an incredible fighter, and it was awesome seeing him fight in the 5th round of Ragnarok. But even though he lost to Shiva, he gave him one hell of a fight. But just how strong is Raiden, and how does his vow work? It is explained that his vow allows him to have complete control over his muscles, with him breaking the 100 seals and not letting it hold back his muscles anymore. With this, he is able to have complete control over his muscles and strengthen his attacks more to an even greater extent, along with seemingly increasing his speed and having complete control over his full power. He's able to overwhelm Shiva for a good extension of their fights. With not only being a sumo wrestler, he seems to also know other forms of martial arts or different moves from them, such as drop kicks, lariats, rapid jabs, and throws. With his muscles completely under his control, he can expand his muscles to make shield or strengthen his punches and palm strikes. But there is also a drawback to using this power: recoil, moving his muscles at the speed he was able to, displaying places an abnormal level of strain on his system, and his body can't handle it, and is starting to break down. The third Valkyrie sister's muscle management, or handling his muscles to keep them able or stable to hold up, is barely holding his body together, and it is a miracle he can stand. But even with this drawback, he is still quite powerful. But how powerful is he? Well, scaling from Shiva, who is stated to create and destroy the world on a whim, and is stated to be able to destroy the world, burn it to ash, and make it, recreate it with the ashes. If we take these statements as they are, this should place Raiden in the planet level ranges. Since Raiden is able to combat against Shiva, he should be around those ranges of power via this scaling. Even at the very end of their fight, when Shiva enters his basically Super Saiyan chakra form, the Tandava Karma, for speed he should scale to Shiva along with the other gods who are able to see Zeus move when he's able to fight against Adam, so he should be around the light speed ranges, if not a little bit higher into it. So if we take the statements about Shiva, how he can recreate the world or recreate it and destroy it from the ashes, etc., he should be in the planet level ranges, and his speed should be around light speed, give or take, if we take the statements as they are. But that is it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really like the character of Raiden Tameemon. His backstory as well, becoming a famous Rikishi so he can earn enough money and food for his people of his hometown, along with being able to go all out for the first time in his life. Even though he lost, it was still an amazing fight, and I can't wait to see who will be next to fight in their next chapters of Ragnarok. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you liked the video, please hit like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. Hit the notification button for more videos, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.